I hope this works. I think I've got everything set up okay, other than I'm a little bit lower than I intended to be on this camera view. So I'm going to raise this up a bit. Hello. Hi, Jim. How are you? It looks like you're the first one here, I think. It's been way too long. I know it's been way too long. Let me know if the audio is not working. Um, yeah, I've had quite the last few months. It's been a little difficult. You know, there's always crap hitting the fan in my life, and it just never stops. So it always puts this off. But I've been meaning to do this for a long time, and I finally just decided. I'm setting the equipment up, and I'm just doing this. I don't even have anything prepared, but I just need to do this, and I need to start making this more often because I miss doing this. I really do. This is a little bit awkward because I've had to go back to using the Streamlabs software. I'm not using anything. I used to use Talk Studio, if you remember, right? I raved about it for ages, and I still do like it. It's just that my subscription came up, and to renew it, it's really expensive. In Canadian dollars, it would have been well over. Well, to get the standard Talk Studio is about 190 Canadian or more, and it's just a lot for 1 year right now, considering this isn't doing much, this channel, and it just wasn't worth putting into. Talk Studios, is the same idea as StreamYard. A lot of people like StreamYard. I mean, I guess it's marketing, right? A lot of people jump on StreamYard, and Talk Studio is the same thing. And in fact, it has all the exact same bells and whistles, and is a fair bit cheaper. So if you've ever put off getting StreamYard to do streaming, you can use Talk Studio, which is through Streamlabs. It doesn't make it any more confusing. But yeah, Talk Studio is a lot cheaper, and you have all the same stuff. So I'm surprised more people don't jump on that bandwagon. So anyways, yeah, I have put this off for way too long. I've even talked to Enrique about getting Art Block going again, and we definitely will be. We're just trying to figure out when. There's been some juggling in my work schedules, but it's opened up quite a bit. Now that it's opened up, I don't have any excuse to do this. As you know, I'm accident prone. Oh, by the way, this is the so this I'm using is Streamlabs, which means I have to do everything physically. The nice thing about Talk Studio and even StreamYard is that it's just everything's there, and you just a quick little change and it's done. Where using like OBS or Streamlabs, it's you have to manually put everything in ahead of time and make sure you're clicking at the right moments to change things over. It's a little more intensive that way, and I have a little mini stream deck that eventually I'm going to get set up. That's another whole setup process, and I just haven't done that yet, because I'm going to have to relearn it again, all of this. Once I have it all set up, I think I'll be ready to go. But the nice thing is about this, it's free, right? I don't. There's no subscription, anything like that. OBS and Streamlabs are free. I tried using OBS. Everyone kept telling me to use OBS, and I have some technical issues with it. For some reason, it just does not like me and would not set up properly. It won't even link with YouTube. Wouldn't do it. This was already set up. Streamlabs is already set up. I have it, and so I'm kind of good to go with this. So anyways, to get back to what I was talking about, one of the reasons I've been away is this is just actually in the past month. Is I'm kind of accident prone, and I fell again right here, right behind my desk right here. I fell, and as I was trying to carry this mug of tea, I went this way, landed on my side, kind of front and side, and I cracked my ribs. I had to go to the doctors, get an x-ray, and I have busted and bruised ribs now. So that's like 6 to 8 weeks, I think, to heal up. And there's not really anything they can do about it. You can't really bandage yourself or anything. They recommend you shouldn't. I lost my tea, managed to save my mug, made another cup of tea. Didn't really notice anything wrong, right? And I went to bed after. It wasn't until I woke up the next morning that I was in severe pain. Severe pain. It was just awful. So I had to go to the doctors and do the thing. So as this has been getting better, my concern was my back, because you all know I have back issues, and I have very bad back issues that will go out. and it goes out usually a couple of times a year badly, and I thought it was going to set it off. Didn't for about a week. For 1 week, it didn't do it. Was fine, and then as this got better, my back went out. Didn't barely walk, barely move, barely do my job. Couldn't do my job. I kept going to work, and I shouldn't have, but I got to pay bills, so I did it, and it was not easy. In fact, I couldn't do my job properly, and that's been a problem. So there's things I'm working on, and one of the things is this right here. I got to start drawing live again. I've been working on some merch. I've got a little merch shop coming with some of my work going on, t-shirts and mugs and that kind of thing. Will be fun. So I'll get the link to that ready, especially with summer coming up and lots of events. I'd like to get some merch out, but it's hard when I only have a small channel like this. So and I am enjoying another cup of tea. I don't have this set up right now with my drawing monitor, which is right below here. I am going to try and set up over my iPad. One of the things that inspired me to start this back, well, I've been inspired for a long time, but I guess the one thing that pushed it, when I started getting questions from a young person. He responded to one of my videos about what iPad to get for drawing. And he had a lot of questions. And he's a young fella, I think, and he just wasn't sure which, he sounds like he's determined which, he's decided rather what iPad to get, but what drawing program to get for it. And so I thought that would be something I would go over as well. And so I've got my iPad set up and the camera's over top of it, and I could just show briefly, I think I'm going to do two of them. I think I'll just show briefly Fresco, because it's now free. Fresco used to be $10 a year. And that is from Adobe. And I don't like supporting Adobe, but that's a really, really good program for the iPad, especially for drawing. So I thought that one would be worth it. And it was relatively inexpensive, and now it's really inexpensive. It is free. That was a surprise. And they're still supporting it, so which is really good. And of course, the ever popular Procreate, which was designed for the iPad. And there's talk that it might be coming to the desktop. We'll see. So I'm going to go over those two. And I'm going to be talking to Enrique because I think we have a lot to discuss. There's been a lot of things going on with AI, and I know we've been talking a lot about that, and we're not big supporters of it. I've experimented with it a little bit. I don't like to do too much for a couple of reasons. One is because it's horrible on the environment. There's so many environmental factors that come into it that are just awful. I think people have no idea actually how horrible it is. The amount of fresh water it takes to cool those machines down is astronomical, and it's disgusting actually. So yeah, in that respect as well, and also because of what it's doing to artists. When I did play around with it, I refused to make anything artistic with it. I was trying out Sora for a little while because it was free. They used to give you 10 free credits a day. For a little while they gave you 30, and I wanted to see what it would do with making human scenes. It was terrifying in one sense. One sense it was frightening because the results were very realistic. There was a reason why Sora was leading there for a while, is because they were making things that were looking humanly realistic. They were performing. They were even having you could tell it to change its emotions, and it would give a performance, not Academy Award winning performances, mind you, but it would act. It would perform. You could make something that would look like a video camera in a backyard, and it would look like it was natural, like it was shooting somebody in a backyard that was just behaving normally. Or you could tell it to do a movie scene and tell it to make this cinematic, and it would be like these performers, and it would feel like you were watching a movie. So it was really frightening in that part. The downside to these things, though, well, downside, take it as you will. The frustrating part of it was that it would generally get things wrong a lot. This is I think where they talk about the AI slop. You would have to do a prompt. My shirt's all crooked. You would have to do a prompt several times over before we get it right, because one thing it was awful for was giving the dialogue to the wrong person. No matter And I mean, I learned about I looked into what prompts to use to make the dialogue come out properly, and it would still do it wrong, and it felt like it was doing it on purpose, like it was almost purposely going out of its way, like it knew who it was supposed to come out of and then wouldn't do it. And I don't know if that was because they were trying to get you to buy the membership or what to they thinking. But even people, I've talked to people who had the membership and said it was still the same problem. So it wouldn't follow directions, didn't, it insisted on giving the dialogue to the wrong person, and you'd have to like wait a day and kind of reset it and clear your cache to maybe give it a fresh take on it, because it just wouldn't do it right. And and then when it did get dialogue right, there'd be something else that would screw up. The likenesses were wrong. You'd have like another arm coming out, and there were certain things it couldn't handle. Lifting items was a bit difficult. It didn't know how to lift to register weight properly. So to pick up a box, or physically even like a hug a person and lift them off the ground, it didn't understand the weight distribution of that and how to treat it. So everything kind of floated. There was no sense of gravity in any of the images, and that got really frustrating. It couldn't. I keep looking this way. I apologize. I'm not used to this. I got to look into the camera. And also got the chat box here and down here. So yeah, that was an ongoing frustrating issue. So, and that seems to be in a complaint in a lot of these things, because now Sora, as you know, is going away. People are jumping on Kling and Sea Dance and all of these, and they're expensive. Sora was offering it free, which I think what was killing it, because their system was overloaded. And people were really making weird shit. I think people were making some funny stuff, but they were making some weird shit as well. And I think they realized it was getting out of hand, because they were like making likenesses of real people, and just, it was something that people would have fun with for a couple of days and then drop it. I could see how it could be addictive. I really do. But the problem is, again, it keeps getting things wrong, and you do it over and over and over again, trying to get it right, and you'd use up your credits, and you come back the next day when it would renew, and it was incredibly frustrating. I need to make sure the audio is coming through. Can you excuse me for one moment? The problem is, again. Oh, there we go. All right. I just want to make sure I am coming through. This I'm using this for now. Eventually I'll be switching to my lapel mic. It was just the batteries were dead on it, and I just didn't have time for that. So hopefully this is coming through. This should be the Snowball Blue. Yeah, so it's going away. I was trying to experiment with a few things. I'm looking in. I'm not going to continue with it. It's because it's kind of gross. The whole thing is actually pretty gross, and I don't want to support something that's putting artists out of work. Things like ChatGPT and that kind of thing are one thing, because they're just verbal assistants that can help you walk through something you're working on. That's fine. I don't know. That still uses a lot of. Well, I shouldn't say it's fine. It's not really. It still takes a lot of power. Still needs to cool those systems down, and while it can be an assistant, it's a nice way of doing Google a bit faster if you're looking up something, but they can help you write scripts and stories. Apparently they're overly complimentive, so if you're looking for like an honest feedback for something, if you're writing something and you want it to assess it and you're asking it, give me an honest opinion about this. Well, it'll tell you everything's great and maybe tell you where to tweak something, but it'll tell you everything's fantastic. Where something might actually be legitimately not working, it won't really tell you that, because it doesn't want to be negative. And so that's a problem. And people are also starting to treat it like real people. They're like, you can give it a name. You can tell ChatGPT, okay, I'm naming you Joe today. And so, okay, my name is Joe. And now Joe is their best friend, and they're confident, and now they're talking to a chat instead of an actual person. So there's issues, things like that are just kind of getting really weird and wildly out of control. So I don't know. It's either we need, like, we're still complaining about people walking with cell phones in front of their face. we've still hadn't adjusted into that yet as human beings, and that's still kind of a problem. And I think we're starting now to learn to sort of put them aside. I'm noticing a lot of people, a lot of young people now, I think, are still being social. I was into Tim Hortons and I saw a group of young people, as obnoxious as they were. I was impressed with the fact that none of them had cell phones out. They were all talking to each other, and I thought that was kind of a good thing to see. Every once in a while, they pull something out to check something, but they, for the most part, it was kind of nice to see them just communicating with each other the old-fashioned way. But as far as AI, I don't know how that's going to adjust into society. Hey, it's Godzilla Fan Life. How are you? Yeah, I'm back. Oh, you missed my first 20-minute preamble. I'm 15-minute actually, but yeah, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a demo on the iPad if it works. I've got the camera set up over top of it. I don't know if it'll stay in focus and how much reflective light I'll get off the iPad, but I would like to do a little quick demo on that because I'll be having a break in a few minutes. But yeah, thank you though for popping in. I was just talking about a bit about where I've been, some injuries that I've had to sustain lately, unfortunately, and putting this off for too long, and a little bit about what I've wanted to talk about lately, especially with the influence of AI. As you know, Sora 2 is shutting down. I've experimented a little bit with that, but not too much. As I said, I don't like to create artwork with it. I just created like a couple of little human scenes. Some of the problems with it. Anyways, I won't go over that too much. I've already been through it. You can always kind of go back later if you want to. This will be up for replay. I'm also planning. I have a lot of ideas written down for videos or streams. I find I'm a little bit better to do. I'm a little bit better with impromptu streams like this, and so I might see if I can just do streams. I might do the odd video, but video means a lot of editing, and that's time consuming. I like editing, I really do, but I would do it all myself. I do it all myself, but I know a lot of people once they start doing really well on YouTube, they hire editors, which I can kind of understand why. It's very time consuming. But if I ever got to that point, I think I'd still do it myself just because I like it. But it is really time consuming. And to get just the little ums and ahs out of the voice where live stream, you kind of come to expect it. So I just, I don't care. I just do it. But you can still actually get a lot of viewing on the replay after. It's longer. I do these and it's like an hour to 2 hours, right? So that being said, I kind of got a bit of a request. I got a lot of questions, I should say, and the best way for me to answer them was I felt like I could just talk about it. A young person had messaged me talking about wanting to get an iPad for drawing, and he talked about he wanted to get the standard iPad 11. I said there's going to be some updates soon to keep an eye on that, but they're probably going to go up in price a bit, and probably the 11s will be on sale. So he's just, I think, waiting to get it, and he wanted to know what drawing program. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. The fact that Fresco is free now, Adobe Fresco, Adobe of all things offering something for free. Imagine that. And Procreate, of course, which is just a one and done payment. $10 US, I think. Canada is 12 or 13, something like that. It's always a little bit more in Canada. I think that was probably about it. I want to try and see if I can move over and set that camera view up. I just want to make sure everyone can hear me all right, especially if I switch over. Let's try this for a moment. I just want to make sure people can still hear me. I see the audio is still going. So hopefully if you can hear me on that. Testing 1, 2, 3. I'm going to check mine. I have this going on my phone. Hold on a second. Anytime somebody puts something in the chat, it always... Yeah, that's good. Okay. Whenever you type something in the chat, it takes about 30 seconds before I see it. Um, yeah, you know what? I'm going to be doing something, Jim, with Procreate Dreams. I have a plan for something I'm going to be working on very soon. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'm glad you're enjoying it because I understand you were using what's the one? Octopus? No. What's it called? Squid Tunes, I think. I forget. Was that the one you were using? I forget which one you were using, and you really spoke highly about it, and it's still very popular. But I have Procreate Dreams, and I've been determined to learn how to use it. I had started to learn how to use it, and then they did the major update with Procreate Dreams 2, massive update to it. Now a whole bunch of things have changed, so it's not quite the same now. I mean, it's mostly the same, but there's been now additional learning curves to it. So I'm going to have to check that. But no, that's exciting. You're working on a second film. All right. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a test coming up with it. I've taken a piece of. I'm not going to say too much right now. I have talked about it in the past, but I've taken a piece of dialogue that I found online, and I'm going to be animating something to it. So I want to take the dialogue. I've already saved the video, stripped the audio, and I'm just trying to learn how to use Procreate Dreams 2 now to learn how to line that up and animate it properly. Seeing Oh, okay. So you used all right. My mistake. You used Adobe Animate. All right. Kevin Cross was using. Oh, right. Yeah, he did use it. Okay. Yeah, there was because it was three besides Procreate Dreams, it was three other big ones. Like there was Squid Tunes, Adobe, and there was another one. I forget the third one. Oh, all right. Is Paul Pate using it as well? Oh, that's great. Okay. Yeah, I may end up hitting you guys up for a bit of advice. If I can't find something online, I'll definitely ask you guys um, as well. Do you know something I also I had recently is I'm trying the 90-day trial with the because I have a Mac, and I'm trying the suite, the with the creative suite that they have. So I've been spoiling myself with Final Cut Pro on both the desktop and the iPad. In the U.S., it's only $13 a month, American. And so I don't know if there's taxes on that, but it's pretty cheap for you guys. Here in Canada, of course, because everything's a little bit more, it's 19, and I really like it. I do, and it's not because of all the. See, I just really like Final Cut Pro, but here in Canada, if you want to buy it outright, it's $400, 300 US, 400 Canadian. That's a lot. There were ways that I could use it for free before using certain codes put in terminal, and it would renew your trial. It was a 90-day trial. Now they don't have. You have a one-shot 90-day trial, and that's it for the Creative Suite. But they don't offer the free trial anymore with Final Cut Pro the way they did. They've changed their whole format, so those codes don't work. It was spoiled for too long, but I really like it. So it's either I dump it and go back to the free stuff and maybe use oh god, what's the big editing system? It's through I keep thinking Black Magic, but that's the company that owns it. But DaVinci Resolve, which I'd have to relearn a whole new system, and I heard there's a little bit of a learning curve to that, which might be all right. But I'm really used to Final Cut Pro. I'm used to that now being really smooth, that I can do that. So I'm kind of rambling a little bit. I know. I apologize. But yeah, I definitely want to I'd really like to kind of keep that creative suite. It's yeah, isn't it? I really like it. You don't have the creative suite, or do you? I take it you've probably had it for a while, right? I'm not going to be buying it outright, but I would like to subscribe to it. But man, it's an extra like $18 a month, and I don't know if I could do that. Mind you, it comes with all the other stuff. See, the thing too is also comes with motion. It comes with Pixelmator, which I already have. Yeah, like there's a whole bunch of stuff to it. Now the whole like Pages and Keynote and all that, like those are all free anyways. It's just when you get it with Creative Suite, you get access to a few little bells and whistles that are AI related, so I don't care about that. But all right, I'm gonna do if I don't lose anybody. I do have to. I find lately I have to take a lot of washroom breaks. It's the curse of getting older. So I'm gonna do that really quick. I'm gonna run a just a little funny little break video here, and then I'm gonna switch over and set up with my other camera, and I'll see if I can just do a little bit of a demo for both Procreate and standard Procreate and Adobe Fresco, and this is just sort of really basics for this young person who wants to learn a little bit about it. So I'm going to do that in just a moment, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm going to set this up. I'm going to turn this so you can see me sitting over here. And, oh, no sound on it? Oh, shit. All right, I'll have to play with that later. All right, my apologies. Ugh, we'll get all that organized eventually. Can you still hear me now? Hopefully you can still hear me okay. You can see all the crap in my background. All right, this tiny little apartment. I'm way over in another area here, so it's really kind of awkward to set this up properly. But as long as you can hear me, actually I'll move the mic. My mic's way over there. It just needs to be right here. That should be good. Let me know if you can't hear me, if you have any trouble hearing me. I last year I invested in the 13-inch iPad because I wanted the real estate space. I wanted a bigger screen. I had an 11-inch iPad Air. I started with an iPad 7, and I really liked it. And then I wanted to bump up to the Air because the 7 was starting to get dated, and I sold it to a friend of mine. I was having some issues with it. Hard to explain, but it was... the memory kept disappearing on me, and it wasn't because I was filling things up, but it was just I don't know. There's something in the memory that was having some issues, and I just decided, you know what, I'm going to sell it, and I'll go with. I wanted the 13-inch screen, and I should have done that to begin with. So here it is. I've got it, and Why do my notes keep coming up? So anyways, yeah, so here we are. Anyways, so, um, okay, great. So you can hear me. So you got this. I think for young people who are starting, I think your standard iPad, like the standard, um, your standard 11-inch iPad is perfectly fine. It's a really good price. You can do everything with it you need to, and it's a great starting place. Like I did a lot of, or like a lot of the stuff, my artwork, I still that I still kind of promote. And I'm sticking on um, putting merch on is all stuff that I did from my old iPad 7. So it's a great iPad and it's very portable. It's this is big. This one that's 2 inches is surprisingly a lot of extra space, and so carrying it around, you're basically carrying around a laptop. So you have the extra portability of the 11-inch. I think for drawing, the iPad Mini is a bit too small. Um, you can still draw with it, you can still use it, but I just find it a little too cramped. Um, so I think, but 13, I really like this. I've fallen in love with this one. It's 128 gig. You do need the the bigger pencil with, or sorry, the newer pencil. It only works with the Apple Pencil 3. So, um, hi, how are you? Oh, hi. Friend said I reached out some time ago. Did he? I'll have a look through. I'll have a look through my email. If it's who I'm thinking of, I may have. Yeah, I've just um, I've I did a whole intro on where I've been the last little while, what's been going on, and I've had a fall, and I've had some injuries on my ribs and my back, and it's kind of just it's made life miserable for me lately, and I just been bad keeping in touch and keeping up with everything and keeping in touch with people and whatnot. So I'll have a look through. I think I know who you're talking about, and I'll go back into my email and I'll find that again. So my apologies on that if I've been delayed. So um, as far as drawing programs, there's Procreate Dreams. I've got Procreate right here down at the bottom because that's the one I kind of use the most. Uh, there's a few that I've actually have fun with, and some that I have that I haven't. Oh, thanks. I will be. It's just yeah. Cheers. I appreciate it. Um, Infinite Painter is really good. It's the same price as Procreate. It's a little bit of a different learning. It's a bit of a learning curve if you used to Procreate and sets up the screen differently, but it does some things really nicely. Does a few things Procreate doesn't. Sketchbook. I've been having used Sketchbook Pro for years and years and years and years. So now when you get it, it comes with both the desktop and the iPad. I think it's 25. I've always loved Sketchbook. There's a few things I wish it did on the iPad that it doesn't. It's not as big or as thorough as a lot of your other bigger drawing programs are, but they're working on it. It's changed hands so many times, but I don't know. I've always really loved it. It's hard to explain, but I've always really liked it. But there's Fresco. I have some other things on here I'm not going to worry too much about. The Comic Draw, that's part of something else. Plask, which I'll do that one another time. But these are the big three plus Procreate that I tend to use. Painter I don't go into as often anymore, even though I should. It's the same price. It's the same price as Procreate. It's $10 one and done. Sketchbook I want to say is 25, but you get desktop and iPad version. Again, one and done, and Fresco, which is free. So Fresco, I'll tap it and I'll open it. You get an opening page, all your projects that you're working on in it. You can start with a new drawing, which if you tap it, it just opens up into an automatic size. If I go back home, it'll save that page now. You'll see it'll save it as a blank page. There's custom sizes as well. Start from your content will go into, it'll go into your photos and all your files, and you can pick something out to work from. I just like to work with a new drawing. It's a good standard size to work with. And you can adjust your custom as well. Here, I can go into this for a moment. So, you have your sizes here. You can punch them in, your pixels that you want to work with, your dots per inch and all that kind of thing, right? This is what a lot of them start with. So I'm going to close that action instance because I do have this. I'll go in here. They've updated this a little while ago. This is another one that I had it all kind of sorted, and then they gone done and changed it again, and now I'm kind of getting used to where things are again. So, but because they used to separate your tools, up here is your of course where all your different kinds of tools are, and it breaks them all down into like your brushes, pixels. This here was all separate. Now they put it all under one heading, which is nice in that it combines it together. I mean, in the end, it compacts together much better, right? So, so let me just go into like my stand. You can have a selection of favorites if you want, but I'll just go into my standard pixel brushes. Right, your basics, charcoal. Charcoal is nice if you're doing some drawing. There's stuff here I've added. You can go, you can also add, if I go into all brushes, here at the bottom, add brushes, you can actually go into this nice selection of history. Each year they put out a new selection of different brushes for the season. There's some really nice things. I think it looks like they haven't done it since 2024 though. But I've gone down and added a lot of these in the program, and there's some really, really fantastic stuff here. So yeah, and this is all free. So you can add a whole bunch of new brushes into it, which I think is really nice. And you can also import your own as well. So I was just looking for just pencils. You got manga, dry media. It's okay. Charcoal is also nice as well. These comics, there's all your tones and whatnot for comics, which is really nice. This is your graphite. But I'm sketching. There we go. Let's do coal pencil. Right. So, ooh, that's not very good. There's your sizes here. Getting a little bit of a delay for some reason on this. It's done this once or twice before. Oh well. I'll just go with it for now. I just means I have to restart the iPad. It's sort of dumb, but it's fine for the moment. We'll go graphite. And then you can change your color up here, if you want to make like a colored pencil crayon. I don't know how well that's showing on camera yet. I know this is one of the reasons I did it this way, putting the camera over top as opposed to, whoops, don't go out of focus on me. One of the reasons I did it this way as opposed to, like that is putting the camera over top, as opposed to plugging it in and having it go directly into the program, is you can see my finger gestures on it, because there's certain finger gestures you do with your hands that help you get through this a bit faster. Do you know, I'm looking at my monitor and I'm seeing it looking completely clear and bright, and yet I'm watching on the iPhone to see people's responses, and it's super dark. That's really annoying. I don't know why on my camera it shows up great, and on this it's really, really dark. Don't like that. Don't like that at all. There's your size. Oh, you get some smoothing to smooth out your line work. Right, so there's all kinds of nice features in here, and you just have to go and play with. There's your where you can change all your settings. And it's got tilt. No, I don't know about if with the using the original iPad with the Apple Pencil 2. Is it low? I can try and bring this up. I don't know. There, I've got the mic right in front of me. Does this help? I had the mic a little bit of a distance from me, and my voice is probably low. Tilt is nice too, because if you angle the pencil down, you get it's like using the edge of your pencil as opposed to doing it this way, and you get a line, and then you get, right? So that's a nice feature. I really like that. And of course, with most programs, you have your finger gestures. So if you're drawing and you make a mistake, 2-finger tap on the screen, 3-finger tap, double tap to bring it back. Yeah, it's a double tap. Okay, perfect. Ah, Matt, how are you? God, I didn't realize it was you. Yeah, guess what I'm doing? This is way too overdue. So I'm just doing a quick demo in a couple of programs in this, which sort of for somebody. So most of this, when you go through, you just have to experiment with, right? So, and then there's your eraser as well. So if you're doing a drawing and you just need to erase a certain part of it, there's your settings for this. Is also really big. You can shrink it right down if you just need to erase a certain part, right? And so it's and then you've got smudge tools, right, which is a little finger because it's showing like it's smudging the drawing, and you have all the same tools that you turn into a smudge tool. So like, I mean, I'll go with this, and it's just, as you can see here, it's pushing it around. Probably really small, especially on a phone that's probably not very big. Oh, that's good. Okay, I just had the mic a little too far away. Eventually I'll get my lapel mic set up again once I get it charged. That's the only reason I don't have it. It's not charged. So and you got the bucket, which is your fill. Now, they've changed this a little bit. So if you tap it, it's going to fill the whole screen. I need to fill this pixel. Right. So, but what happens is, let's say if I, let's see here. So I'll take an ink. I want to get a nice ink pen here, right? Something that's solid, and I make like a circle, right? So this is a completely enclosed shape. Take the fill tool and you can just fill the object like that, right? So that's pretty straightforward. Now with the fill tool, there should be options to do like gradients, and I haven't quite gone in and figured that out yet, where you can it used to be there used to be a little arrow under this, like these up here. There's little arrows for options. That the bucket doesn't show that, so I don't know where they've hid that. I'll have to spend some time figuring that out. But the best way to learn all this is just going through and here you got like a selection tool and just playing around with each of them. I don't spend a long time. You can add a shape, add text, right? That opens up a whole new layer when you do that. Now here's all your properties over here just opened up. Oh, there's, so you can go into full screen mode if you find all this stuff around the outside annoying. Close that off, and you can insert. This is brand new too. You can add in elements. It'll create like a selection of stuff like a paper, comic panels. I like to set up my own panels, but it does give you some to start with. Lots of textures, images if you need be. And if you need, you can also use the camera on your iPad. You got photos, your files, Lightroom if it connects to it. Use your your eyedropper to pick up extra colors. If you've used a color and you need to go back to that color again, if you lost it, you can always use the eyedropper to go pick up that color again. Or if you want to color in an image, you can go tap on the color in the image and pick up that color and start coloring with it. So there's lots of, you can do a lot with this program. This thing is loaded. It does everything basically Procreate does. There you can add additional layers, so you can work in layers. And depending on your memory means how many layers you have. Some people are big layer whores, especially these artists. They like to work with 100 layers. Even I don't do that. Like when I use layers, I like to do it on layers to keep my stuff safe, so it's non-destructive. So if you do something wrong in coloring, you're coloring underneath your drawing, so you're not permanently wrecking something. So that's a big handy feature. So why is this blacking already? But yeah, so I mean, if I have Joe here, but I want to change something on it, I can do a selection tool like this, and then here you can transform the shape. make the head bigger. Right, you can squish the head, make it smaller. Right, so done, and deselect. So yeah, so there's that's kind of it in a nutshell. And if you're finished, you can go back home and just let it save for the moment. That little blue circle, there we go, it's a check mark. And then whenever you come back, you can open it back up again, and you can continue where you left off. Thing is, if I do some work, and I can always tap it to go back and tap to go forward. Once I do this and I send it home, it saves it at that point. So if I, not now, so if I hate it when it does that, reopen it, I can't use the tapping anymore. That you can't redo it. You're starting with this again. So if I need to get rid of this, I gotta grab an eraser and erase this out. And so Procreate does the same thing. I feel like there's something on here that I'm missing that I was talking about. It's going to bug me now where they've moved the where they've moved the gradients, because I know that's in here somewhere. I'm going to have to find that. But where they to do the fill is a gradient, and there's different ways to do the gradients too. You can go from like a circular gradient, a cross gradient if you want like a sky with a sunset, or if you want a gradient coming out in something. There's different ways of doing it, and it's not there in the bucket, so I'll have to find out where that is. So, and up here, like your export, there, this is your your account. Some of your settings in here you've got. Whoops. I haven't gone a lot into layers, but it's all this. If you're used to Photoshop, a lot of the same operations are in here. If you're an artist, get Adobe Fresco for doing your artwork. Do not get Photoshop for iPad. It is terrible. Photoshop for iPad is terrible. I remember how excited we were when they got it years ago, and we knew it was a stripped down version. We thought, oh, give it time. And they've never hardly updated it. Apparently, it's still terrible for iPad. If you need Photoshop, get it on your desktop. I'm not a big supporter of Adobe. I've dumped everything except for this, just simply because it's free. Otherwise, though, if you're an artist, get Fresco. This is exactly what you need. It's perfect. And a lot of people swear by this. It's nice that you can use vector in it as well. For those that don't know, in case, vector is when you, like for this, if you zoom in, if I keep zooming in on this, you can see how pixelated this is. But if I do a vector line, let me see if I can go in and get it. It keeps it smooth. You can zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, and it will never vector brushes. Okay, here we go. So you will maintain this. So look at the two. This is pixel, right? There's your pixelated, and then your vector. Vectors are just a little more hard on this. There's the vector edge. Look at that. I just keep zooming in. But this gets all pixelated until you're right. You see the edge of colors like that. There's upsides and downsides to both, which is a whole nother video I'd have to go into. But it's nice that it has vector, and I should use them more often. I don't, because I'm used to using pixel, but I should start using that again. Anyways, that is Fresco. Fresco, as you can see, everything is kind of around the outsides. You can click on this so that it spreads it out, but if you need something... there's your little thing with the controls there. You have to kind of bring it back again, right? So, which is just simple. It's a little tap. But that is it in a nutshell. Comparatively, everyone uses Procreate, and Procreate is very much touted by Apple. They love Procreate. It's designed only for Apple products. I should say only designed for the iPad. It might be coming to Mac. They've been talking about it, maybe designing it for Mac. So when you tap it, there's no introduction page. Your introduction page is your folders like this, right? Or it's all your images that you're working on, and when you overlap them, you can drag them and make them into folders, as I've done here. And actually, what I did is, oh, I never noticed that they shuffle when you hover. Oh, isn't that neat? That is new. I made little covers for them. So these are projects that I'm just kind of working on at the top, and the rest of these I've made like little covers for them. I said, like, these are some cartoon drawings, that's paintings. This is the coloring book samples I'm putting together, some test sketches. These were some jobs that I was doing and a work in progress. Here's some animation, some drawings I was doing for YouTube videos, and just actually a few notes. So when you tap it, you'll see it'll go into this folder, and here's everything that you've got in this folder, projects you've worked on that you can come back to. So like, tap on paintings. Here's stuff that I've just, and some of these are just not even finished things. Some of these were just shapes and doodles I was working on. Some of them are much more thorough. If you come back, like cartoon drawings, these were more characters. Look at this. I did this in iPad 7 years ago. Look how sharp that is, right? That was on an iPad 7, 6-7 years ago. So you can't, you're even with a low iPad, you can still get some fantastic stuff. And I can take that and I can actually upload that into any shop and put it on a shirt and have that printed on a shirt, right? So you're not just because I have an iPad Air, this 13-inch. Just because you've got something bigger doesn't mean you're going to necessarily get better results, right? It comes down to the artist, really. And this is only about, what, 5 or 6 layers? Oh, I only did 3 with that. I would do a lot more than that now. I think this was started off as an experiment, and I just kept going with it. But all the shading and that I put directly on the cover level, unless I ended up collapsing it at some point, which is probably what I ended up doing. Whoops, I don't want to add a layer to it. So, yeah, so that's, and so when I tap gallery, that you come back to your gallery, right? You can see there's a lot of things I'd started here that I never went back to. So let's see here. By the way, I'm making some coloring book pages. That's what these, oh, they just show up white. You're not going to see those. These are just really simple drawings I've done with shapes that I want to turn into coloring books. But I've kept all really thick block lines, really super simple shapes. As you can see, there's nothing really, it's meant to be super simple. It's not meant to be like a complicated drawing. These are meant to be like childlike drawings that just it's meant to experiment with coloring. So these will be available soon, really cheap. I'm still kind of working on them a little bit. A couple of them I want to redo. So this one is I actually based this one on a pier in Oakville near where I live, which is another city over from us. It has just sort of the standard lighthouse. But yeah, this one I need to do a little work with too. Let's add some clouds in there. Is this going in and out of focus? It looks like it is. I don't know why it's so dark. It's not showing dark on my monitor, but on here, it's coming through really dark. So let's go in and I'll start one. So the little plus sign up here to get you started. You've got, these are all sizes that I actually can delete a lot of these now. Whenever I make a new size that I've punched in like a brand new setting, it makes a new canvas that it saves for you. But a lot of these I can delete now. I've had them for way too long. This is a standard at the top here that it comes with. And then there's a standard screen size. You can just tap on that really quick if you need to go into it. And here it opens it up for you. And this is your interface. It pushes everything to the outside. If you remember in Fresco, you had everything all the way around unless you hit those 2 arrows and it pushed them out of the way. Well, here everything is out of the way except for this little strip across the top and this little control slides here, right? So this is the first part you mainly want to concentrate on first, on the upper right, because there's your tools, your smudging and blurring, your eraser, your layers, and your color, and that's the big main ones you need to start with this. So when I tap on my pencil, it opens up in a menu. Now they've actually updated this. I can break up this menu now, and if you watch, if I pinch out, I've broken it up into all these different tool menus. I've separated them all. This is the classic library. This is the new Procreate library. I separated all my stuff that I got from True Grit, which is all my retro comic stuff. And this set here is the one that I got from Aaron Blaise. Aaron Blaise is an ex-Disney animator who has a whole website on learning animation, and he also puts out his own tool set. And a lot of these were for originally for Photoshop, but I picked up the set for the Procreate. So, but he's got like an amazing set actually. So, but this is the classic library. I even tried to make a couple at one time. I made like my own pencil back in 2022. Goodness sakes. So, but here you can select your color. You select the color around the outside, and then you can slide it across to how light and dark you want it. Once you get over to the side of black, it is black. If you double tap on the inside dot, it will try to find closest to what you're trying to find. It'll get closer to that point on the sort of your color wheel. So I just want like a pure solid black, right? And then I'm getting sort of weird delay. I'm gonna have to restart the iPad later. That's but I wanted this gritty pencil effect, and I wanted to try and experiment with it. So that's but the thick and thin works on it, which is nice. But you can see there's a delay in starting it like that. It's not supposed to do that. I would have to restart the iPad. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Let me go back into the standard pencil. I got them listed here. A bunch of my favorites that I like to use. You can make a whole section for your favorites. So there's your pencils, your size of your pencil, and then under here is the opacity of your pencil. Right. Now there is these little back and forward buttons you can tap if you like doing it that way, but I don't think anyone hardly uses those. You just use your 2-finger and 3-finger forward. Sorry, 2-finger back, 3-finger forward. I forget what the rest do. I know there's other gestures. Oh, you can draw with your finger too if you want. Oh, nice thing is too, so if you need, you can rotate your page. So if you're drawing something and you need to rotate it, and you're trying, instead of trying to line it back up to where you were before, if it gets out of hand, snap your fingers away and up, and it will fit right back into the screen. Again, it has tilt. This one doesn't, so isn't this particular pencil isn't good with tilt, but this one is. This is great. So I'm going to change the size on that. This is a 6B pencil, which I really like. So you can see you're getting the side of it, as opposed to drawing on the top where you get a hard line, but the side you get a softer line like this. And it really has, this is really nice. Like, it looks like grit on paper. So I go into the smudging tool, and again, it just opens up the same palette. So you can smudge with the same tool or a different tool. I've got this soft airbrush, and there's the intensity and the size. So I've got it on kind of a mid-intensity, and you can see here it's like smudging your finger over it. If I turn that up, you'll really push it around. Oh, look at that. Increase the size a bit so you can see it. Right. That's kind of cool. And then you got your eraser. Again, the same tools. If I use the airbrush, I get kind of a fuzzy edge to it. If I need something really sharp, I'll go into like the studio pen, and that, whoops, Well, that's in my tools drawing. What am I doing? And then you can get like a really sharp eraser in that. Now your layers here. So let me go back. By the way, tap and hold, or if you tap on it, you're going back. If I tap and hold, let me straighten that out. I gotta be able not to move it. So if I tap and hold, it'll zip back through, and it'll go backwards 200 moves. So let's pick, like, here's a studio pen. I want something solid, and we'll do the same thing again. So I'll make a solid line. Now to fill that, I'll pick a color. Let's say I want it red. Okay, this is sort of a reddish orange, so it really stands out. I take that little dot and I can drag it right in there, and it'll fill that. If I have pencil, the pencil is too it's too grainy, and it doesn't seem to like staying in that. So when I try and do that in this, it ends up just going outside of it because it has too much grain to seep through. So yeah, I don't. You need something solid like a marker that closes right off. But there's like here's your layers, and you've got the line drawing on one, and then I filled it directly on that layer. I don't do that. So, and most artists won't. So let's go back. We don't want to color in directly on that layer. Let's add a new layer and drag it underneath. We're going to color it underneath. So if I did this, see, this layer is open, and if I try to drag it, it's not catching on to anything. It's underneath this ink line. But what I can do is tell it to refer to that. So if I go to this layer, I want this layer to be referred to. If I tap and hold, I get a new menu up here. Rename, select, copy, fill layer. I am going to call that a reference. Now it does say fill layer. That's new. I'm going to find that out. That might be... We'll come back to that in a bit. Actually, let me kind of look into that, and I'll learn about that later. But this is a reference layer, so it means anything underneath refers to this line, right? So now I don't want to accidentally do anything on this layer. So what I can do is slide it slightly over, not all the way, but slightly. I've got some options here. I can delete the layer, I can duplicate it, or I can lock it. If I lock it, it means I can't do anything on that, and it'll tell you. Do you want to unlock it, open your layers, just hit cancel, right? So I can't do anything. So that's so you don't accidentally draw on the wrong damn layers. Artists will tell you. Go in the layer underneath, right? It's underneath that line drawing, and now when I drag that over, it'll fill that. And as you can see here, there's the color and there's the line. So sometimes if you want, like, I can make this invisible and just have an orange shape. So that's a nice fun thing with this is you can outline it, but if you want just shapes, you can make an outline first, fill the shape, and then remove the outline after, right? So that's pretty straightforward, I think. This is all kind of standard stuff, right? I don't know if anyone watching has any questions, feel free to jump in anytime. Now, that's kind of, in a nutshell, this here. There's lots more I can get into, and there's lots to get into in the layers, because I'm not going to get into masking and alpha mask and that kind of thing. There's a whole lot here to cover. I just want to go into the standard basics here. So that's this. Now, what's this over here, you might ask? Well, there's 4 more over here besides your gallery. By the way, again, right now I can make any changes. I can do the tapping and make any changes. As soon as I go back to that gallery, changes are done. You cannot make any more changes after that. You are starting fresh. If I try to tap this, nope. No more changes. It's done. You're starting with a, and that's okay. That's all right. I've gotten about as far as I kind of need to here. This isn't anything worth keeping. So if I look at my layers, again, I've got the color underneath, and I've got a reference layer. If I want to add shading to this, I'm not going to add it directly on the color. Again, I like to work with layers, and I like to keep the layers as indestructible as possible. So anytime I try and add a new element to the drawing, I put it on a whole new layer. So if I'm going to add some light and dark shading onto this, I'm going to add it over top, and there's a new layer. So if you need to add a new layer somewhere in the middle, go to the one underneath, and when you tap the plus sign, it will add a layer over top of that one. Does that make sense? We good so far? Am I losing anyone? Anyone? You? Okay. So now I've got layer number 3. Again, I don't want to play around with that color. I can slide that and click lock, make sure I don't touch that layer. Oh, thanks, man. Sometimes I feel like I don't know. I don't know if I'm making sense to anyone else or not. Now, this arrow, currently it says the layer is empty. Oh, because I haven't added anything yet. And these are locked. So I can't do anything with it yet. Let me unlock this for just a moment so you can see. This is outlining your shape and from here you can alter it and move it, right? And you can see it's doing it with the layer underneath. Have you ever seen those cartoons? Let me show you something just for stupid fun for a moment. I'm going to make this invisible, but I haven't gotten rid of this yet, right? And I'm going to go this layer underneath, and let me go to black. That's the pencil. I want the ink. You've probably seen some of these cartoons, right? People have done this online. Now here I'm going to go to the selection tool. I'm going to come back to this for a moment. Freehand, right? Do that. Now I've selected this, and you've seen people who have made them talk, and they've moved them up and down and made them talk, right? And there's a bunch of people who've done this online on YouTube videos making them talk. It's hilarious. Anyways, that was a stupid little thing I thought I'd show you for fun, but it's something you can play around with if you want. Let's go back to this. So we're gonna do some shading here with this. Try this again. I've got a new layer over top that I'm going to do the shading. That's going over top of the color. This is sort of your selection, but it's selecting whatever you've got on the page at the moment. Now this here is your selection area, and you can do automatic. So as I select automatic, it'll pick something on here that you've selected with your pen, and when I slide it, it'll pick that area, and as you slide it, the threshold will change. So it's a pretty solid color. If I had a gradient on there, it'll fiddle with the gradient. But here it's selected that color, right? If you want, you can also do freehand if you want to do a very specific area, and it'll just work within that area. Again, you've got rectangle and ellipse, and here you've got all your options you can do with your selection. So let me go back out of this for a minute, and I am going to do the automatic. So if I hit add, means I can add to the selection that I've made. I can invert that, so now my selection's on the outside, it's not the inside. Copy and paste. Basically I tap that, it will copy that color. I can paste it. I can paste it in a whole new drawing. Actually, I can close this off, open a new one, and paste it. Or else I can, if I was to do that, you can see it made a whole new layer with it. I don't really need that though. Save and load I've never really played with. I'll have to kind of learn a bit about that. Here, clear, so I can select it. It'll clear it. It'll clear your selection. And then there's a color fill. It's funny that they've got this here because you can just drag it. I never use it. But anyways, so there's your, you can make your different selections, your rectangle, your ellipse. So your feathering, which means it'll feather the edge of whatever it is you select. Oh, I can turn that on. That's why the color fill is your... Okay. So if I... Let me go back. If I make a selection, let's say I use an ellipse, and I have that color fill selected, it'll just fill it automatically as I'm going. So here I can change the color to green. There. And so it'll just do that automatically. And it clears that. So the reason I am selecting this color, though, is that if I wanted to add some shading to it, so let's go into selection, and where's the color? Oops. apologize. There's normally a little... Oh, I know why. I'm thinking of a different program. I want to go back to this orange. I was looking for color picker. The color picker is a single finger press and hold. And there's eyedropper right there. And if I tap on that, there you go. There's your old selection on the bottom, the new selection on top. And when I put it over where I need it, it picks that color again. So now I'm right back to the same color because I want to take that and I want to darken it a little bit. And there's a nice little, I like using the noise brush. So if I want to shade one side, I can do that, but you can see it's making all this shaded on the outside. I don't want to do that. I want to use the new layer first of all, but still, it's sort of shading that on it's overlapping. I want to stay in that area. So what I will do is I will select it and I'll just use the automatic because it's nice and easy. Let's try that again. Ooh, that is high. There we go. Come back to my tool. Now you see there's all these angled lines going through this, so you can't do anything out here. You can see it's just going inside that area. So you can see actually I want to go on to here. I'm locking that off. I'm doing it on the wrong layer. But you can go over top. I can go over top and it will still stay in that selection area, right? I can widen that a bit and look at that. So you get a nice kind of bit of a shade on it. And now I'm going to do the other way and make it nice and light over here because that's where you get the light hitting it, right? And it makes this kind of nice little gradient here with it. And now I've done that on a separate layer. So here you can see I've got the solid layer of color, the layer of shading, and then your line, right? And if I tap that, if I want to get rid of the line, I can do that, and it makes it look kind of three-dimensional, like it's a physical object as opposed to being outlined. So there's your selection, and here, like again, I can change the size of that if I need to. I can rotate it if I need to, right? So, and go back to what I had. This little guy, this is all the fun stuff here. There's you can change your hue, your saturation, your color balance, curves, your gradient maps, a Gaussian blur, which is great. If I select that, I can slide this across and see how I can blur that a little bit. It makes it a bit fuzzy. Now I've turned off the selection, but if that looks a little too gritty, I can blur that out a bit, right? That's always really nice. There's your noise, your sharpen. You can change the noise level on that. Halftone. There's your liquefy. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm smearing that with liquefy. Do all kinds of weird stuff with that. And I'm playing around on the level with the shading, right? So let's see if I unlock this for a minute. Clone, if you've seen on Photoshop, you can pick an area and it will clone it. So I pick the area here, I can move it around and then draw here and it will clone whatever it's showing here, it'll duplicate it. All kinds of tools to have fun with here, and you just have to go through and play with them. And finally over here, this is things you can add to it. So I can add a file. If I can go into my files and pick something, if I have like a paper like background I want to add to it, I can insert a photo for my photo selection. I can take a photo with a camera, add text. I can start adding text into the image if I want to. That'll open that up on a whole different layer. I don't need delete, not duplicate. Ugh. This went into way more than I expected to. And then of course, like there's things you can do with your canvas. If you need your drawing guide, I don't know if you can see that on here. I guess you can, to help, figure out where you are. You can open up a reference if you want to have like a little drawing reference in the corner. Hey Dylan, how are you? Nice to see you. Oh, thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. I won't be too much later. Finally, share. You can export from here with the share button, or you can share back outside the menu as well. I can show you that in a minute. So this is just a quick overview, right? Like there's all kinds of, I could spend the next 3 hours going into everything, and I'm not going to do that. So I'll go back out to the gallery. Again, you've got like, you can select what you need to here. You can import, if you want to import from files or something else, you can import something in before you start. This will open up your photos. Like if I go into, if I want to export it though, I'll just maybe want to export a bunch of them. I can just hit the plus sign, I'll just hit the select, and then you can preview it, you can share it, duplicate it, delete it. Share, then you can export it to whatever format, and then once you selected it, so like there's even a Photoshop document there, JPEG, right? It's making it ready for export, and there I can send it off to people I've chatted with, to my computer, anywhere. I can save it into my photos, all that good stuff. I'm not going to for now. But that's, it's pretty straightforward. Like as soon as you keep playing with it, everything is kind of there and is pretty self-explanatory. So that is it. So if that young fella messages me and wants to know more about it, I can direct him to this video. Yeah, iPads. I love my iPad. It's kind of like my favorite device. I never use it as often as I want to, but I really do love it. I took it with me to my aunt's years ago. I used to have to take like my Mac Mini with me to hook up to the TV to kind of do things, and now I have this because this is just so much more thorough. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm gonna close this off. I'm gonna switch back to my other camera. Tell you what, I'm going to switch to another break here for a moment, and then I'm going to reset things up. I will be right back in just a moment. Here, I'm not going to go through all that. I'm back. I'm ready to go. I wanted to set this camera back up properly. Anyways, that was a lot more explaining than I had kind of wanted to do. By the way, how was the audio on the second clip? Did that come through at all? As I was saying earlier, I'm not using Talk Studio anymore. I'm now going back to standard Streamlabs, and you have to do a lot of presetting ahead of time. And whoops, this is still on. And I'm not used to it yet, so I'm going to have to get in the habit of presetting everything ahead of time. That was the one thing I liked about Talk Studio, was all that was already done for you when you opened it up. You had a little bit of work to do, but not like using the actual like Streamlabs. But I miss Talk Studio. It's just too expensive. It's too much money. Who knows? Maybe in time I will. I'll maybe get the subscription again for a year. But there was no audio at all. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna have to. Doesn't have any audio. All right. See, I've got to fiddle with all that. That's right. I do kind of miss Talk Studio. But yet at the same time, with the Streamlabs program, like the Streamlabs OBS, you do have more flexibility once you learn how to set everything up properly. you can fiddle around with it a lot more, and you can add all kinds of fun stuff into your stream that you can't do with Talk Studio. But at the same time, things like this happen where you lose the audio, and it's you got to make sure everything's like 100% all set just right before you start. So anyways, yeah, I'll have to fiddle with that and find out what I've screwed up on the audio settings. Actually, I think I do know what it is, and I'll have to go back and make sure I change that. Everyone you put in, you've got to make sure your output is set properly. So anyways, that was kind of it. I've streamed for not quite an hour and a half. I thought it was longer than that, and it's almost 1:30. So I think that's it. Yeah, what do you want me going live? Well, here I am. I'm hoping, again, I keep saying this a million times over. I'm going to say it again. I would really like to make this a regular thing. I do like making videos, but I find the editing process takes a long time. I like editing. I have fun with editing, and I have fun with Final Cut Pro. But this is just nice and straightforward, and I don't have to think about it afterwards. And I like to just maybe start doing lives a couple of times a week, maybe 3 times a week if I can do that. We'll make this a regular thing. I have lots of ideas written down, and we'll see if I can go from here. I'll talk to Enrique. We'll get Art Block going. We have lots to talk about. We were talking about AI earlier, and oh, thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll just keep this flowing again, because I really do miss talking. And just kind of doing this. I need to keep looking at the camera, not over here at the monitor, but I do look down here because on the phone I can see your messages coming through. That's the one thing with using Streamlabs desktop, is that your messages are coming through a lot later. So I'll miss it by about 30 seconds. So whenever you put in a message, I'll probably see it. Give it about 30 seconds or so, and I'll see it pop up. So, but this is nice that I've got 6 viewers. Be nice if we get that numbers up again. So, but I seem to get a lot of repeat viewing, and so. Oh, are you doing a live? Oh, good for you. Yeah, I am subscribed to you, right? Hopefully, I'll try and catch it. If you're doing a live, I'll put on the notifications for it so I get notified when you go live. That'll be great. Yeah, I think that's kind of it for now. I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I want to refresh my cup of tea, and then I have a few things I need to do tonight still, even though it's 1:30. I'll be up for like another 2 hours. Turning into this night owl. I need to flip my system around. I'm not working the night shifts as much, but my system's already set on this late shift, so when I get up really late. So I wake up because of sounds, and then I end up going back to sleep after, so yeah, such is life. But oh god, it was great seeing everybody again. I got to do this on a regular basis. So Jim, Matt, and Dylan, and who was the other fellow that popped in? Nero Smith. All you guys, great. Please come back again. And seeing you. Oh, question? Do you have a question? If you have a question, do it now. But yeah, it'll be great to see you all again on a regular basis, and I gotta get comfortable. I'm pretty comfortable doing this now. I can talk. I'm not consistent. I hit a lot of ums and ahs, and I need to kind of clear that up a bit more. So, but yeah, I want to refill my tea. I need to use the washroom again, and then eventually kind of settle in for the night, I guess. So, but. Oh, technically, Trek? Yes. So there was, I'll let Dave explain it. There was some stuff going on at the house first, and then when he wanted to come back, he's having a little bit of minor surgery, nothing major. But it just, when he has it, it's going to take him a couple of weeks to heal up properly. And so we thought of just give it a delay. We are going to pick up where we left off. I think the 29th? I want to say the 29th. We're going to come back. So not this Wednesday coming, but the Wednesday after we'll be back. So, but yeah, we're coming back for sure. So, yeah. But if you want, I'll keep you up to date on that too. So if you want to know when it starts, I can give you a reminder. I think if you go to his page and go to his shorts, I think he talks about that. But anyways, I'll double check. So oh yeah, he definitely will. It's nothing major. It's what do you call it? It's something on his face that he wants to get cleared up, and I don't blame him really. So, but yeah, so that's all. We'll try and do this again. I probably won't. We'll see. It's hard to say when exactly I'm going to come back. It's hard to set a schedule because things happen in my life, but I'm definitely going to come back again. Very latest Monday will be nice to do sooner than that. Maybe Saturday or Sunday we'll do something. But I have to work on Fridays. Maybe I'll try and pop on tomorrow. I have tomorrow off. So maybe tomorrow I'll try and pop in if I think of it, unless something comes up. But yeah, I'll definitely be back. Whew, all right. Thank